Welcome back to CBS Sports HQ, and man, do we have a slate of college basketball action on tap this Saturday. Take a look at the top 5 teams that are in action. The day begins in the afternoon, 2 p.m. Eastern, when Iowa State takes on Houston, followed by a 4 p.m. tip between number 1 Auburn taking on Georgia. You'll get to see number 2 Florida on the road against LSU to start our evening games, followed by a top 25 matchup. In Tuscaloosa, Kentucky, Alabama, Duke, Illinois will be our nightcap. And then on CBS, Oklahoma State taking on number 23 Kansas, 4 p.m. Eastern tip-off on CBS, or you can stream on Paramount Plus. If you're looking to throw some money down on this weekend's college basketball games, you're in luck, because we have our 2 sports line analysts with us, Mackenzie Brooks and Sia Najad. Hi, you guys. Tommy Tran, obviously, here as well. So we're going to go through ping-pong a little bit of these games, and we're going to begin with number 6 Tennessee taking on number 7 Texas A&M. What's your best play, Kens?
I love Tennessee and the 2.5. I'm comfortable with it. You can obviously take the money line, but this is a Texas A&M offense that already doesn't really exist, and then you take an awesome defense like Tennessee, we'll just shut them down even more. So it's, you know, they're already taking care of their own issues, and Tennessee should really capitalize on it here.
Let's get to Oregon at number 11, Wisconsin, which, by the way, our Jerry Palm bracketologist has the Badgers as his 2 seed and strongest Big Ten team. Sia, 7.5 points is what the Badgers are laying. Too many or too little? What are you doing here?
It's too little. Wisconsin's really good, and they're putting up a ton of points, 94 and 95 over their last 2. What I love about Wisconsin the most is that they're a great free throw shooting team as well. So I think we're looking at icing this game at the free throw line, covering the spread. Give me Wisconsin laying the points.
Okay.
Let's get to Florida State on the road, taking on number 25 Louisville. Big yikes here for your Seminole onset. Ken's Louisville right now, heavy favorites, 13.5. What are you liking in this one?
I actually like FSU to cover here, not because I think it's the best basketball team since sliced bread. However, that is a lot of points to try to cover for Louisville when you don't really shoot from deep at all, right? So when you don't have that 3-point game as part of your game, all they really like to do is score in the paint. FSU actually is really good at defending in the paint. That's one of the few things I can say that's going pretty well for the Seminoles team.
I mean, keep it coming.
Yes, the way Louisville wins will not necessarily be, you know, as dramatic in this specific matchup.
All right, it's not nearly as high as 13.5, but 12.5 is what Texas Tech is laying against West Virginia. Sia, take me through the thought process and the handicap here.
Yeah, this just feels like too many points. West Virginia's a solid team. They're not a terrible team. It's a good bounce-back spot for Texas Tech, but at the end of the day, West Virginia plays some tight games. They have gotten blown out as well, but I just think 12.5 is too many points. Again, good bounce-back spot for Texas Tech, but West Virginia not getting enough credit with this line.
All right, as we're working our way down the Saturday slate for college basketball, we find our way to number 21, Mississippi State. Mackenzie taking on Oklahoma. Mississippi State actually favored just slightly here, but you like...
Give me the dog.
The home dog?
Plus money, home dog here.
On the money line, too.
Yeah, they're in a must-win situation. They're in that bubble conversation. I was just on set talking with Jerry Palm about it as well. Now, one creative play you can get with this game is they're around plus 195 to make the tournament, right? That's a lot better price than this around even money plus 105 money line. This is a must-win game. This win will likely help them get into March. So I think you take them to win the, or excuse me, not win the tournament. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. Make the tournament at plus 195 instead of this money line.
Okay, that'll go a long way. Let's go good on good. Top 10 matchup, Iowa State and Houston, 8v5. This line at 7.5. We're going to go Cougs, or are we taking the Cyclones in the points?
I want to take Houston. Houston might win it all.
You want to?
I want to, but I'm not going to, Tommy. And here's the thing. Iowa State's a solid team. I don't want to get too ahead of myself when it comes to Iowa State. I mean, I don't think they're going to win it all, and I do think Houston can win it all. Houston's at home. Iowa State also getting healthier, though. I think that's super important to recognize, and we're starting to see them rattle off wins. And against a good team like Houston, yes, I expect Houston to win. Again, 7.5, too many points against an Iowa State team that might be playing its best ball right now.
See, I'm not sure the nickname yet for this segment for you, but I know it's Moneyline Mackenzie for you this next one. You just keep it rolling here. Number 24 Ole Miss taking on Vanderbilt. You like Vandy on the money line here.
Yeah, I like Vandy here too. Look, there's 2 reasons why Vanderbilt should be able to win this game. Ole Miss loves to capitalize on turnovers. Vanderbilt's not going to turn over the ball, so you can't win games how you're used to winning games when you're Ole Miss here. And Vanderbilt should also win the rebounding battle here. They out-rebound SEC teams at home, which is a very tall task when you're in this one of the best conferences ever right now. We're talking about in college basketball. Ole Miss always a negative rebound differential on the road.
All right, let's get to Kenzie's Dogs catching 18.5 7.5, and the #1 team in the country in Auburn. Now, we talk about game script a lot of times in handicap. Do you just think that Auburn's going to get up and then let them back in the back door? Or do you think this is going to be maybe tight when we start tip-off?
Tommy, stop stealing my take, because I think that's exactly right. I think Auburn's going to get up big, and then they're going to kind of take their foot off the pedal a little bit. I mean, they're the much better team, with all due respect, of course, money line. But here's the thing. We're talking about a flat spot in Auburn's schedule. I mean, at the end of the day, we're talking about 4 ranked teams coming up for Auburn. Clearly, I shouldn't say clearly, one of the top 2 teams, in my opinion, in the country, with Duke being the other one. So I think this is sort of a flat spot, knowing what they have on the table. Georgia, by the way, has played some close games lately. It's not like they get blown out all the time. I understand this is the #1 team in the country. 18.5, way too many points. They'll cover this late.
He hit you with the Thomas there. How do you feel about that?
Getting serious.
Yeah, it is. It's getting real.
No, I like that.
All right. Next up, we have an ACC matchup between number 18 Clemson taking on SMU. What are you eyeing in this one?
I almost went with the dog money line here, so I will not fault anyone at home who wants to take that. I do think the safer bet is to take the +2.5 with SMU. The Sportsline model loves SMU here. I mean, they're actually one of our favorite teams, not to go far, but again, one of those bubble teams. They remind me of Maryland, where they have that perfect sauce of like a bunch of 5th-year players and then an awesome freshman. They have a 7-1 freshman from Turkey. How do you root against that? Sounds like a fun team to me, so I like SMU in the points.
All right, we're making our way through Saturday. We've gotten through the 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock hour. Then, of course, at 4, we've got the CBS game, Oklahoma State at number 23 Kansas, 14.5 there at Allen Fieldhouse. Now, because it's a CBS game, we're tasking both of you to give a handicap. You guys are both on opposite sides, actually, on this one. So I wonder who we should start with. Sia, since you're visiting us here this week, I'm going to give you first word. Which side are you on?
Thank you. Okay, so here's the thing. Kansas is not a good basketball team. Let's be real. Okay, and by the way, I just want to pat myself on the back a little bit. I had BYU against Kansas on Sportsline, so we all cashed that ticket together. What was it, 91-57? I think they had the infinity symbol as far as BYU scored. But listen, Kansas is not a blow somebody out team at the end of the day. When I look at Oklahoma State, yeah, not a very good team ultimately, but they've battled. They were good last time out. Again, 14.5 against Kansas. I'm not buying it. Kansas can't blow anybody out.
So I think they are a bad basketball team on the road, and when they're playing tough opponents, they are really good at beating really bad teams at home. That I know they can do. They are bully beaters, and you know, it's not the most impressive thing ever, but that I know they're capable of. I think what we get with this BYU game is a shorter spread than we would have got if that was even at least a tighter game. I think the spread probably would have been around 17, 18.5. So now that we get this 14.5 in response to that, I think that's worth taking Kansas in the points here at home.
Okay. All right.
Make that clear.
Making it clear, heard, noted, all of the things. It's going to be a good game. Saturday tip-off, 4 p.m. Eastern on CBS. All right, let's get to the Heart Attack Conference here in the SEC. Number 2, Florida on the road, taking on LSU here. Gators favored 9.5. Is that a little bit too large, in your opinion?
It is pretty large, just given the situation they're in. They don't have Alex Condon, for those who don't know, is basically going to be a first-rounder, 60% plus, shooter. It just has double doubles on any given night. So him not being there is going to be a little bit of a Florida problem. So I would take LSU and the points in this game. I don't like to base everything off of point differential. I don't think that makes you, the team that you are. But when you talk about against the spread, looking at the average point differentials of these two teams, LSU seems to cover. And while Florida obviously has a positive point differential, one of the best teams in the country, it's not going to outweigh what LSU has been doing.
All right, ranked matchup, Kentucky and Alabama. Just last weekend, we had 1v2, Auburn beating the Crimson Tide. Alabama hasn't really gotten off the mat yet this week there, Sia. Do you think they do it this week?
I think it's a good get-right spot for Alabama. I look at this line, and it's pretty large, but when you look at the injuries for Kentucky, Butler's still out, Robinson's still out. I just think it's too much. Bam at home. Again, in a get-right spot, coming off a couple of losses. Kentucky not very good on the road. It's going to be a raucous environment in Bama. I like laying the points here.
All right, we've talked about the number 1 team, the number 2 team in the nation. Let's get to the number 3 team. Duke will be facing Illinois on the road. Heavy favorites here. What are you liking?
We're going with the Illinois flu game here. Not to win, but at least to cover this double-digit spread here. For Illinois, it's about, can you hold this Duke team to 36% from deep instead of 38% from deep, which is what they typically average. Now, this Illinois team is certainly capable of it. They were doing it all year up until February. For whatever reason, they've just fallen off a little bit defensively. Knowing they have it in their back pocket somewhere, maybe they're inspired by the flu game and all of their players who were coming off the flu last week. So I think it is, again, a bigger spread than it should be because of that, and we can take advantage here.
We'll see if they show up in a big moment. This game also played at Madison Square Garden. That's going to be a fun one.
Number 15, Mizzou, road favorites at Arkansas. It's a tight spread, 1.5, but we're grabbing the points as the home dog.
We're grabbing the points. This is another great spot play in my opinion. We've got Arkansas. It's a very good team, by the way. They're piling up some losses lately, but it's all against great teams. Now Missouri, also a great team, but I just like the desperation we're going to see with Arkansas. I think they steal one at home, and again, they've had such a high level of competition. In that desperation mode, you got great offenses versus great defense. I think Arkansas at home comes out on top here.
All right, last but not least, you're riding with the Cougars yet again, back-to-back weeks. What is going on? I love it. BYU taking on number 19 Arizona. What are you eyeing and why?
So I like BYU plus the 7.5. The Sportsline model would only make this a 2-point game, which is basically implying on a neutral site we would like BYU. A lot of reasons for that. This has been a clean basketball team. Let's change our sports here. Arizona, yeah, really, I'm just sad. Arizona can be very cold from deep. We saw it in their last 3 games, 22%, 22%, 9%. Their last 3 nights in 3-point shooting. So again, Arizona did beat them in Utah. I think we could see a revenge narrative here. I wouldn't be surprised if BYU pulls off this upset. Everyone gets so worked up about their head coach leaving. This is the same team, same points allowed, same points scored, same shooting percentages, same record ATS. So I think people over-exaggerate that. This is still a solid basketball team.
All right. Mackenzie Brooks seeing the shot. That was fun, guys, getting ready a primer for this weekend. Just kind of what you guys are doing, of course, on the early edge, which you can catch. And I know you guys had Katie Mox as well. I'm going to give you hosting duties once again. Tell us a little about what we can expect in the pod.
Oh, on the early edge.
Yeah.
It's a great show. Monday through Friday, we get out our best picks, and we get them out early, which is really, really important, so you can get the best of the line Monday through Friday at 10 o'clock. Join us every single day.
Love it, love it.